Hi, I'm Maz Jobrani, and I'm Persian like the cat. Meow.
I can't imagine anything more terrifying than having to stand on a stage like this and tell jokes in front of an audience this big, let alone jokes about Middle Easterners or Islam or terrorism. But that's exactly what Maz Jobrani is about to do, and I'm here to interview him before his show. Is this thing on?
Contrary to what some Americans think, the whole area is not one country. I don't know if you guys have the same types in Sweden, but I've run into conversations there with some people. Just bomb the whole goddamn, just bomb the goddamn.
As you mentioned in your book, in the title of the book, you've taken on the role of terrorists.
Yes.
What were you thinking at the time, and do you have any regrets about that?
You know, when you first start out in Hollywood, the types of parts you get when they find out you're of Middle Eastern descent tend to be parts where you play terrorists. So pre-9/11, I got a role in a Chuck Norris movie of the week.
The closer I get to Allah, the more peaceful I become.
It was my first experience doing something like that, and when I went home, we filmed in Dallas. When I got back to LA, I told my agents, I said, no more terrorist parts. And that's when the TV show 24 called, and they said, we have a terrorist part. And I said, no. And they said, but he changes his mind halfway through the mission. I was like, the ambivalent terrorist. I could do that. So that was the last time I played one of those roles, and that was well over, that was probably 15 years ago or so, and I have not done any more auditions for those parts. And those are the parts that are available, unfortunately. And I think it takes more and more people from that part of the world, or that have grown, that have backgrounds from that part of the world, to get involved in filmmaking and writing for us to start having other stories told that show us in a different light.
So let me challenge you here, because we're talking about taking on problematic roles. And you're going to be playing Jafar in an upcoming Disney movie called Descendants about the villains.
Yeah.
A lot of people had problems with the character of Jafar. In fact, back in the day, one of the leading Arab rights groups denounced the film Aladdin for being racist.
Yeah.
So how do you reconcile that?
First of all, it's a smaller part in a bigger movie. And secondly, I have no problem playing bad guys or villains, you know, and I understand the criticisms of Aladdin. I understand those, and I probably agree with some of those. But I have no problem playing bad guys. Like I keep saying, I want to rob a bank in a movie, but I would just like to do it with a gun, not a bomb strapped around me.
Okay, Mr. Jamshid.
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 Shit.
Shid.
Shid.
Just call me Jimmy.
How much of your comedy is about dispelling stereotypes about Iranians or Arabs or Muslims, and how much of it actually kind of like plays on that or propels them just for a laugh?
I was one of the first comedians from this part of the world to talk about, you know, to start doing stand-up. And it's not that I chose to be one of the first, but like it was me and Ahmed and Aaron Cater and Dino Bidala who were doing the Axis of Evil comedy tour. This was like 7-8 years ago on Comedy Central. It came out and we were looking at what people were saying online, and one guy in a conservative chat room, he said, I never knew these people laughed. That's a big thing. I mean, think about it. You've never had people from the Middle East telling jokes on American television and laughing. And part of it was when they would show the audience, and there's an audience of people looking like you laughing, I think people were shocked.
I'd like you both to behave tonight, by the way, okay? Palestinian, I don't want you like throwing anything at the Jew. If you have like rocks or, you know, Molotov cocktails, you keep that to yourself. Jew, I want you to behave. Don't take her seat. That's her seat. Let her keep her seat.
You've said in the past that when going to the Middle East, you avoid sex, religion, and politics.
Yeah.
But what defines Middle Easterners other than those three things?
Yeah, there's ways to kind of skirt it, you know. And I've seen, what's been great is since we went out about 7-8 years ago, in 2007 we came out, there's now a stand-up comedy scene in a lot of these countries. And there's young people who are talking about local politics and getting away with it. And it's a beautiful thing. And the way I compare it is, in the US, 50, 60 years ago, Lenny Bruce was a comedian who would say things that would get him in trouble. And he was being arrested after his shows. And I feel like hopefully in the Middle East, these kids that are starting to do stand-up, you know, stand-up is very new to that part of the world. So I'm hoping that as the years go by, people start to open up to it, and these young kids who are doing stand-up there in 50, 60 years, it'll be a much more open society in that way.